As we come towards the end of 2021, we can look back fondly on what we have achieved, but considering that COVID has been overshadowing all our lives for yet another year, it's amazing how much work has been done by the volunteer force.
Here we are on Falkland Road, on the site of the canal. The canal through the Fossway section goes right the way down here and goes all the way down to the roundabout at the bottom. Today we in fact got the licence to allow us to actually plant a bund and some hedging all the way along the edge. The idea is to keep the site secure, that people can't drive into the site. There's been incursions down on the next section over. So we've got the permission to create this bund, which will become part and be incorporated into the canal channel that needs to be through here. We're planting hedgings. We've had a fabulous donation from South Staff's Water, and we've purchased 100 whips today. We've had the senior members of the management team from South Staff's Water here to help us plant those hedges, and 100 hedging plants and whips have gone in this morning into the middle of the bund, and there will be 1 or 2 mature trees that will be put every 10 metres or so along there. So we'll be planting trees, and we'll also be planting trees on this side as well, on the boundary here. So lots of planting, lots of enhancement. The batter slopes will be seeded with meadow grass, so we get lots and lots of wildlife. It'll be a wildlife haven and a really nice, relaxing place to walk.
Having a straight line.
Here we are again at the Lichfield Canal, Falkland Road, Zone B, and we've had a fabulous turnout this morning with a team of Duke of Edinburgh's and the Green and Grounds team. A load of guys. I didn't even count this morning how many, but we've laid something like 200 and something odd metres of hedge today along the side of Falkland Road, which makes the site secure. It basically keeps undesirables out of the site and defines the edge of the site, which is exactly what Staffs County Council wanted us to do, to secure the site and make sure it's ready for handover. We can then get on with digging out for the cutting here that needs to go through to extend the channel that we've created in Zone B from down by the horse at Fossway, and bring it right the way up to Claypit Lane at the top here. A lot of work to do, but this opens up a whole new section of work for us. We have a fabulous donation from South Staff's Water, who through their Pebble Fund. They've donated a great section of something like 600 hedges I've had on my front garden 2 days ago. I don't have 600 hedging plants on my garden anymore. They're now in the ground. They're going to be watered a little later on. We will water it with the Bowser. They've used all the water up.
We're here with a mixture of Duke of Edinburgh award youngsters and our regular adult volunteers doing several jobs, in fact. And we have just had, today of all days, a minute's silence for the Duke of Edinburgh. As we all know by now, the many millions of young people who've benefited from the scheme since the 1950s. We've got about 14 Duke of Edinburgh volunteers on the books at the moment. Being in the middle of the Easter holiday, we haven't got them all here today, but a fairly good turnout. And indeed, the little group around the big stone block are all in the same bubble at school, so I know they can work close together. The others I'm spacing out and spacing the adults out as well. We've also got today, apart from this brick cleaning up, and it saves us £2 of brick, I think I'm right in saying, to clean up the mortar and reuse the bricks, and obviously it's environmentally better to be doing that, quite apart from saving us money, and these youngsters are doing a great job. And we've also got further along the site several people who are clearing up the offcuts from trees and hedges, creating habitat piles, and also the brash, which is to the leafy bits and the very twiggy bits, they'll just stack out of sight in order to rot down and again, you know, give back to nature.
I built these in the lockdown in my garage. See, there's the one. That's the drawing I had to make. There. 1797.
Yeah.
It was opened.
Oh, right.
The 6th of May.
Okay.
Oh, were they? Yeah.
You don't have to fix it so they don't move accidentally.
Well, what I'm going to do is put that in there first, put a brick on against it. So each arch, I'll have the first brick on, and then it won't move then. So you see, by having the folding wedges like that, when it's time to remove it, you just remove it and then it drops. Good start off. If you didn't have those, you couldn't do it. Yeah. So that's the two left, you see. Yeah. And the door goes this way. You've got the spring line, so you've got to start off like that. I need to work to my marks of the brick joints.
Yeah, it's going to be the bypass.
There. So the next job tomorrow is building the abutments in between the arches. So that's the actual brick. And then I can offer it up where it's going to go. With my...
So he said to me, I started at the beginning of March. He said to me,
Quite exciting is to see if it's going to come off at the right place. Crack.
I can hear something going. Yeah, completely.
oh yeah.
See?
So Rick,
Oh dear.
That's why you need the
That's the
angle grinder with the masonry blade.
yeah.
Good morning, Paul.
Still no angle grinder.
No, well, I only want one more brick to cut.
Here's something you didn't know about Ricky. 17, he was parading about in Monaco with all them fancy women.
18.
18 then, alright.
What was he? A F1 driver?
There's a cruise.
Doing the circuit?
Mediterranean cruise.
Oh, right. Well, not working, he didn't help build the palace.
I know.
We've got to do some shirts.
We've completed the abutment and the brick on edge, and that's solid. So now we can release the formwork arch by removing the folding ridge, and then we can remove the centre. Right there.
Very good.
Bricks enough to tighten the badge.
God, you used a bit of timber on that job, didn't you?
Yeah.
You should have a look on Facebook. It's all on there.
Welcome to the Lichfield Canal. We're here at a momentous day. We've been working on this canal at the Gallows Reach section for something like 3 years now, and this is the culmination today of the opening of a 260 metre section of the Lichfield Canal, the Gallows Reach section of the Heritage Towpath Trail. We have today with us the Mayor and the Sheriff to formally open this canal, and I will hand over to you guys to do your bit. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Peter. It gives me great pleasure to be here today for the opening of the Canal Heritage Towpath. There's been so much work done into this, mainly by volunteers. Without the volunteers, this towpath would not exist. But without the Canal Trust, the volunteers would not have had such a wonderful time working together. It's relieved some individuals I know from social isolation and potentially boredom. All age groups have been involved, including community groups from the local community school. And on top of that, it meets my mayoral year in that I'm keen on the environment and green corridors, and this ticks every box for me, so well done everyone.
I'm delighted to be here at this opening. As a child, I lived just up the hill there, and I came down and played on this filled-in canal, and it's so nice to see the hole getting deeper and the work being done, and I look forward to the day when it's filled with water.
Our job now to declare the towpath open.
Right, you were talking about canal in water, so between you, a picture
Oh, fantastic.
of the canal
Thank you very much.
in water.
Brilliant. Thank
That
you
one
very
looked
much.
brilliant.
Artistic license, but
Thank you,
That's
Stuart.
great, well done.
Yeah, wonderful, Stuart. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, very
Thank you,
nice.
sir.
I'm not going to let you be left out. There's one for you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And it's the aqueduct as well. Thank you very much, Stuart. That's absolutely brilliant.
You're in a smiley face.
Hey, Will, Jamie, get over here.
I'm drawing smiley faces. You can see how pretty they are.
today to make two special presentations to our president, the wonderful Eric Wood. Many of you will know that Eric was one of the 5 founding members of the Trust 33 years ago. Eric, we're at Lock 18, which, as you well know, was the site of some of the important early work of the Trust. To thank you for all your vision and enthusiasm, which has stood the Trust in such good stead for the last 30-odd years, we are delighted that this lock will henceforth be known as Wood Lock 18. A few weeks ago, Bob William visited Eric and asked him how he had started the Trust all those years ago.
Eric, thanks for the invitation to come to see you. Lichfield Canal, Ogley Lock section and the Hatherton Branch Canal were both closed by the British Transport Act in 1954-55, restricting any passage of boats along the canals, rendering them abandoned. So 30 years later, you took it upon yourself to set about restoring them. How did that come about?
I saw this arm going up past the Lichfield Cruising Club, and I saw a big sign that said Lichfield Cruising Club only, no passage. So I thought, where the dickens does that go to? When I got home, I looked it up and I found that it was a good route, quick route up into Birmingham. And later on I spoke to people like Ike Argent, who was a boater on the canal years ago. He was you probably know, he's a Thomas Caton tarboat man,
so,
Ike
yes.
Argent. And he said, you'll never get that open. I said, why not? He said, well, it never had any bloody water. I said, why, what's the problem? He said, well, it's sand and gravel, you know. He said, you'll never get water in it. So I thought, well, that's a bit of a challenge, that. And I got 1 or 2 people together, as I say, who were interested in those days, and we started from there, really.
Thank you for your determination in bringing us through those early years.
Well, it's now going to be a canal open for everybody. We've got a lot of international friends in New Zealand and America. They love to come over here, and people from abroad will love to come and spend money on this Lichfield Canal. It will be a vital link to the northeast corner of Birmingham canal network when it's open, and I look forward to going along the canal myself, and hopefully we'll get it open before I disappear.
So when the boats finally turn under the bridge at Ogley Junction and make their way down the flights to Lichfield or climb up to Cannock from Calf Heath, it won't just be because of Eric's perseverance and hard work. It will also be because of his personal warmth, his ability to draw people in and to make them believe they have a part and a contribution to play, his kindness, his warmth and his hospitality.
Eric was of course the Trust's first chairman, and although it was a team effort to start up the Trust, there's no doubt that it was Eric's can-do, glass-half-full attitude that was its early driving force.
Had it not been for Eric's optimism, the project would have not got anywhere. He's enthuses, dare I say it, all of us, and has done over the years, and continues to do so to this day.
I was privileged to be Eric's vice chairman for a decade, and I'm grateful to the support he gave me in that time when we achieved so much in establishing the credibility of the Trust. It's over 20 years now since Eric retired as chairman, but as president he's continued to support and inspire the Trust.
The satisfaction that we get now of seeing Peter's enthusiasm and everybody, lots of local people are so interested in it.
I have to say I blame Eric for all of this. If Eric hadn't come up with this damn silly idea to open a canal and had so much damned enthusiasm moving it forward, and if you hadn't done the engineering in the early days to make it happen, I'd be out of a job and I'd be retiring with gin and tonic in my hand instead of working out on the canal. But
we've During this COVID, we've walked down by the canal, and the people, it's the people who are walking with families. They don't really know the history of it, and they are really enjoying it. A lot of people have got a lot of satisfaction as far as it's gone so far.
On a personal level, I valued his friendship and generosity, and I'm grateful for this opportunity to join in congratulating Eric on this landmark 90th birthday. Happy birthday, Eric.
You're amazing, Eric, and we really appreciate you. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Eric.
Happy birthday, Eric.
Happy birthday, Eric.
Happy birthday, young Eric.
Happy birthday, Eric.
Happy birthday, Eric.
Happy birthday, Eric. Happy birthday, Eric.
Happy birthday, Eric.
Happy birthday, Eric.
The second presentation is of a birthday present and card from the Trust for Eric, which we want to give to Robert and Kim to look after and give to Eric on the day.
Well, we'd like to say thank you very much on Eric's behalf. We'll pass it on as soon as we can. I'm sure he would rather have been here, but obviously with the restrictions at the moment, it's not to be. We'll get him out here to have a look at this sign as soon as we can.
Eric is a showman and a great motivator. In the future, working about down Lock 18, we'll probably have a little white-haired gentleman wander up to him, invite his wife to make a cup of tea for the gentleman, and tap him up for a few bob towards the restoration.
A few bob towards it.
Virtually what this is going to be the position of where the new wall's going to be built. On that footing there, far up, that's where the peg is with the tape in it. Our brickies are going to start building a nice new wall in there for us, then we can start digging the rest of this chamber out.
How much deeper have you got to get down?
That's the depth we need to go down there.
Right, and of course get rid of the pipe.
Pipe will be coming out eventually. That's way in the future. There's a lot of work to do beforehand. Yeah. Power driving and all sorts of things to go in. So yeah, it's going to be a lot to do. But anyway, getting on with it now.
Yeah.
We're actually doing here at Old Lock 24 is, if you take the old lock, unfortunately we can't use this lock and come shallow going through Cricket Lane, because we can't put a high bridge there. Traffic will not allow that anymore. So we can't use this as a full lock, and we've got to go deep through this lock at depth take out the end wall and carry on all the way through until we get to the other side of Cricket Lane. And then a new Lock 24 will be built on the other side of Cricket Lane. That leaves us with a problem in that if you take the alignment of this wall, and you can see it from literally standing here, if you take this alignment and go deep right through there, we go right in front of the cottage, and we undermine what we need is an embankment in front of the cottage to hold the cottage up. So we've got to turn boats from here, unfortunately, which means this south wall has had to come out, and we're building a new south wall about 3-4 meters further over, so boats can actually turn here and miss the cottage.
So this is about as deep as it's going to go now, is it?
That's down to full depth. In fact, that is the original brick invert of the lock, and the channel now will go along here and start to divert. You can see the new diversion which goes away from the original line. We've had to dig the wall out, take the walls down, dismantle the wall, and all the buttresses along the line, including the top lock gate. There's been a lot of work being done over the last 3 months, something like that.
So here we are now standing in the former lock. As I say, the important thing to note is that we are probably 2.5 meters higher. So the walls that you'll see in a moment is the new height of the lock. The new south wall is being constructed with outer brick course, an inside brick course, and is being infilled with concrete, and also being infilled with some of the old bricks that we can't use, so some of the half bricks. What you can also see on the bank there where he was working, he's constructing a brick sort of mound, a sort of a dry stone wall, if you will. That's just to use up some of the half bricks that we need to get rid of.
Sloping wall Peter wanted to hold the bank up. It's going up so high and then to be angled off, beveled off the top.
Also you can see the new footpath coming over the top. Unfortunately we can't get the levels correct at the moment. You should ideally be aiming for a 1 in 40 slope, and we're going to be probably double at that, but that's the best we can do I just wanted you to get a perspective of the confined space, and so where this canal will come through will be only 2.9 metres wide. There were intended to be 3 buttresses here, but we've built the second one. We're about to build the third one. The first one at the moment is basically a support pier. When we excavated down, we found the old sill, and we've actually underpinned that sill with a fair whole cubic metre of concrete, so we don't think that's going to go anywhere. So it'll be up to Peter to decide how much of that he needs to reinforce. So that's absolutely going nowhere, that's going nowhere, and we need to now concentrate on this particular buttress to make sure that that wall stays where it is. Importantly, once we finish this third buttress, there are another 3 buttresses that are going to support the wing wall behind me. Those we hope to be able to place behind the pipe and not interfere with the pipe at all. So that's the work of our master bricklayer, Rick the Brick. He's constructed those. I think Peter was concerned with people walking along there and falling in, and so that's what the handrail is. Managed to use a few lengths of scaffolding, and as I say, Rick has constructed those brick piers.
Oh, Hugh, you're not on brick cleaning duties, are you?
I can think of nicer things to do at the time. Can't get these guys to do it, I'm afraid.
I wonder why.
I wonder why as well.
It's been peaceful down here, hasn't it?
Yes, we got the birds. Peace and quiet when the mixer's off. We just had a hawk come down the canal.
Ah.
He came down there, and I said to Paul, there's a hawk. Then all of a sudden he shot up in that, see that tree down there? Yeah. He went up into that. Mm.
Spot on. So you've nearly finished this section then?
I've only got to do, I always took the post out. I've only got to do down where the wall's showing. That's it then. That's the 50 metre mark. So I'm getting the top on this one hopefully this week. Then I'll start putting the base in along there for the final run. Bill 21.
I'm just bringing this wall back to life, mate. It's I've had to repoint it all, as you can see. Then I've got to go into that stone wall there when I finish this bit. No rest for the wicked, Paul. Well, you remember? When we got compo, we've got to use it up, you know.
Yeah, it's going to be hot, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be very hot. Every time I work on this wall, that bloody sun's on my back, mate. It's done my head in. So we try not to waste anything, and I've used like that bit I'm doing there now. I've put some 3/4 in, I've put some halves in, because it's only a back wall up to that bank, so nobody's going to see it.
Yeah.
And now that I've said that, you're going to point it out, aren't you? That was an interesting little job there, Paul. You see that pipe coming in?
Yeah.
Peter put that pipe on the wall for me because there's a land drain comes off the back of there somewhere, and he reckons when it rains, that will run into the canal to full bore. So I've set a piece of stoneware pipe because there's a plastic pipe coming out the bank into the bank, and just created a bit of step back brickwork around it. So it's like a bit of a water feature. it's our Japanese water garden. Hello, Paul.
All right, mate. Paul?
Yeah, we're revealing all this brickwork. This is the original brickwork from 1790s, and we're reclaiming it. A lot of it's in very good condition. You know, it doesn't take a lot of cleaning, just a bit of scraping off. So and they come up beautiful. Look at the quality of that.
They
It's
were
not
put in
covered in lime mortar or anything like that. It's beautiful, and so they're easy to reclaim and then stack, and then they'll all go in the new wall there. The hard task is getting it out. There's a lot of rubble and compacted soil and all sorts of stuff here that we have to reveal. I managed to remove quite a lot of it with the excavator last week, but the excavator is now being repaired. It needs new sprockets putting on, but when that comes back, I shall try and tuck in the side here and rip some of this out. It's just a bit hard on me. I've got arthritis in my hands, and it's a bit it does a lot of damage. So, but we'll get there, little by little. We'll get there. Yeah, it's going well.
Yeah, brilliant.
We're getting there.
Welcome to the Brown Hills Canal Festival. Absolute fabulous day, sun's out. It's a great success with lots of boaters come down to join in the fun in the stalls and the boats, the trade boats, the fudge boat, the cheese boats. There's a whole host of boats here. here we are at the grand opening of the Lichfield bypass through here, and of course what is also being completed with that bypass is the Lichfield Canal. Quite a lot of the canal the early works have been done courtesy of Persimmon Homes and Amy's, the contractors who've worked really hard. We've had a long battle over 7, 8, 9 years working with Persimmon over the details of this, and this is the day when the bypass is open and the canal is just about to be handed over to us to complete the restoration. Right beside us here is of course one of the 2 bridges that Persimmon Homes have built over the line of the canal to get into the housing development over here, and so we've named this one St John's Reach along here, and of course the housing development has been called St John's Grange. What we've got to put in here is lock 22, which gets us up from 23 up to get through the railway bridge, but the lock will go in here. We're going to site it fairly close to the new bridge that Persimmon have put in here, and that will be something we will get to constructing soon after we've been handed over the site. We can start getting in there. There's at the moment quite a bit of water in the base. We're going to have to deal with water all the way down here, and we have already in our plans decided how we're going to deal with the water. Principally is taking all the water down to that end and putting a drain in the base of the canal to actually take the surplus water, the groundwater, out, so we actually aren't working in thick mud. But yeah, this is where lock 22 is going to go. Comes up, lifts them up, and then goes through the second bridge that Persimmon put in fact, and that is higher by about 2.5 meters to get underneath that second bridge before it continues on right through and underneath the tunnel in the railway, which is a job, the tunnel vision, which is a job that in fact is a future problem, a challenge. Today, here we are on a Saturday morning, and what we've got is about 20 D&V students, and we've got them on nominally recycling bricks from the old Lock 24, which need to be recycled so that they can go back into the new walls, the new configuration for old Lock 24. Unfortunately, we can't reconstruct it as a lock because it would entail putting a humpback bridge on Cricket Lane. So what we're doing is realigning the south wall to a new alignment, and we're rebuilding that with heritage bricks, 200-year-old bricks. And these guys are doing a fabulous job of pulling out the bricks out of the rubble from the old wall, and they're recycling them, cleaning them up, and we're putting them back in again into the wall and rebuilding the wall. Are they keeping up with the bricklayers? The only just is the right answer. So we've been working at this for several weeks now, and Roger, as fast as we can clean the bricks up and take them down to him, Roger has them built into the new wall. So everything from that wall, the old lock wall, is being recycled. The whole bricks, the half bricks, the lumps of glued up bricks, together with even the arisings and the debris and the small stuff which goes into into making footpaths. So everything is recycled. Yeah, here we are at Old Lock 24, and we have a problem. Several problems, in fact, with Old Lock 24. One is that the alignment of the lock lines up straight with the cottage, so we can't do that. We've had to make a diversion away from the original north wall of the lock, and so we're having to move the south wall further over here, and that means cutting in, which means boats, of course, have got to now steer round and to change direction from the original alignment of the lock. The debate has been on this corner, we've always said we would put a 45-degree splay on it, the pipe would discharge through it, and boats would then divert themselves. There will be a rubbing block on the corner to stop boats taking chunks out of the wall, and they will divert themselves down the rest of this channel here safely. And there's room enough here to get a 70-foot boat through the gate at the far end to do the turn and move through the channel, which is just over 3 meters wide enough to get a narrow boat through there. So the bricks show where the 45-degree wall will be built. The lads have dug out for it now. We can start building from behind. There will be a flat portion of it, but boats basically will bounce if they need to bounce off, but hopefully most boaters in fact know better than bouncing off walls. They will actually steer their boat away and into the channel down the side here. And this pipe will not come out until a little later. At the moment that flows full bore every time it rains in Lichfield, so we want, at the moment, that water is contained. So while we're doing all this work, we're doing it in the dry. As soon as we take this pipe out, we will end up with being inundated with water every time it rains in Lichfield. This particular wall here, we're standing right in the lock, but you can see from the point at which the gate is, up where Big Brian is working, in fact that section of wall only has footings going down to roughly where he's standing. Unfortunately they're not footed any below that, so if we had dug down below that wall have collapsed into the canal. And unfortunately what we need to do is, when we have done now, is we put a number of buttresses there and a new wall along this side of the canal here, and all of that will hold that particular wall where it's very shallow footings. That will all be is now fully supported. And this section of the old lock, of course, was the old lock that went right the way down to the original depth. So this does not need any additional work to support the side walls. And what we're doing along the top is basically putting a handrail on to stop people falling into the canal, who might inadvertently climb on the top there and not realise that there is a very deep drop this side. The pipe we've incorporated into the foundations, in fact, will form a hydraulic bypass. When a boat comes through, it nearly fills this channel, and as he pushes the water, it gives just an additional path for the water. Instead of having to try and squeeze round the boat, there'll be a nice big pipe running down to where this big pipe exposes itself at the far end, a few meters down there. So it means that the water, in fact, will then flow past the boat in the big pipe as a hydraulic release.
The Cubs are test driving the quiz that our wonderful artist Stuart Sampson has devised, which is to look at his posters that are all the way along the route of the canal and which follow his wishful thinking theme that's on our calendar, if you want to buy a calendar of ours for 2022, or an artist's impression of what the canal will look like at these various locations when we've got it all back in water. So they are at these red stars. The first one, the bend, right by the A38. So the first one is at Bobby's Bend. This is one of 3 cub packs that the 7th Lichfield Scout Group has. And this is the Somers pack, which is spelled S-O-M-E-R-S, and it's called Somers. Not many people know this because it's after Lord Somers, who was Chief Scout after Baden-Powell died, the founder of Scouts. And I only know that because I was a girl guide in the first Ledbury Guides, which used to be Lady Somers' own, but they had to stop that bit of the name when Lord Somers took over as Chief Scout. And I was tested for my beekeeper's badge in the Ledbury Guides by Lady Somers of Eastnor Castle.
I could get some bricks, but
In that soil heap there are bricks, and I just thought it would be a fun activity for 8 to 11-year-olds to try and find the bricks that are in there. And it's useful to us because we've got a pile of bricks behind which we'll reuse either as whole bricks or as the half bricks that get into creating the retaining walls, which, you know, we've got several of along the route and which are actually very attractive. They've got 3/4 of an hour of doing that, and then they'll have very soon a switch over with the other half of this cub pack, where they will go and do the quiz on Stuart Sampson's posters, which are all the way along the route of the canal.
You found it. What's this place called now? Let's have a look.
no, cricket was already Lane.
So, yeah.
Oh, I know it.
Have you found it?
I know which one
You found.
Look.
Yeah, look at the cross. Do we know what the word is?
We think this one might be the Lock 24.
Ah.
Yeah, the site of New Lock 24, I think.
Yeah.
Rather than the looking across Tamworth Road one, which might be defined on that tree there.
From the 30th of November to the 7th of December,
in the Big Gift Christmas Challenge,
Anything you donate will be doubled.
Whatever you give goes twice as far.
Together, we can make a difference.
Anything you'll donate will be doubled.
So whatever you give will go twice as far.
One donation, twice the impact.
Help restore the Lichfield Canal and make an environment for the future.
Created by everyone.
Together we can make a difference.
One donation.
Twice the impact.
The winner of the £750 first prize is Mrs. Scott in Rotherham.
Well, here we are in the few days between Christmas and New Year, and once again the Trust volunteers have turned out during the holiday period to carry out some serious restoration here. We're on Tamworth Road on the Gallows Reach section, and what we're doing today is digging out the channel between the Fishface chip shop and Cricket Lane. We're taking that material, digging out to form the channel. We're taking the surplus material that was also stockpiled here from the Gallows Reach section, and all of that material is being taken, put into tractors and trailers that we've hired in for the period, and they will be taking that material down to Fossway, where they will build the land up to form the lowland heathland area down at the far end of the Fossway section. We've actually managed a great deal through the year. A phenomenal amount of work has been carried out through the year. Yes, we've lost some of our corporate days this year, but we've carried on with the Duke of Edinburgh teams, and our own teams have been carrying on throughout. And yes, we've achieved a great deal. It's been a fabulous year for us.